Hey friend, Roger Christopherson here again with another first listen review. If you were like thinking about maybe sitting down and listening to somebody babble about music, you're in luck because I'm the guy that's about to do that. We're talking about Exodus and their new, and I'm saying that in quotes, live album, British Disaster, The Battle of '89, live at the Astoria. And the reason I'm saying that in quotes is because it was recorded in '89. And they actually, I guess, I don't know the whole story behind this. I've only heard a little bit about it, but cleaning out the closet or something, and they found this reel-to-reel with this, this whole concert recorded on it. They listened to it and were like super surprised at how good it sounded, and decided that they would release it. And I'm really glad they did because it's really good. I can't lie. This is one of those bands that back like late 80s when I was starting to get into thrash, actually 86, it was Metallica that did it for me, I'm not going to lie. Got Master Puppets, and, it's one of those albums that, you just listen to. And of course, Kurt coming from Exodus, maybe want to listen to Exodus. And that's what I think Pleasure to the Flesh was the first one I got. This was during the Fabulous Disaster tour, so it's funny, I really like Pleasure to the Flesh. It's probably one of my favorite albums of Exodus, and I remember when I got Fabulous Disaster, I wasn't quite as happy with that one as I thought I would be, but still, going back now and listening to it, I still actually really enjoy it. And this is with Steve Sue's on it. He's the singer that took over, on Pleasure to the Flesh. And I went back, and it was like a long time before I went back and got Bonded by Blood. I think I had I was probably in the mid 90s before I went back and got that album, but definitely like Steve. He's, my favorite singer of the whole, the whole bunch that they've had now. So I can't even remember what number they're on now, 4, 5, actually can't remember, but I'm actually a fan of this band. I do like their newer stuff. I have listened to it. The album that they came out with this year back in 21, still actually really, really good album. But anyway, getting back to this one, like I said, I babble. It was kind of fun to listen to because it immediately, even though I've never heard this before, the songs, even though there's actually a lot of songs on here from the Bonded by Blood album, they started playing the stuff, Last Act of Defiance and Fabulous Disaster. I immediately went back to that time, and it's funny how music can do that. It's like it's a time machine. So I was thinking about everything that was going on in my life back in those days as I was listening to this album, so it was kind of funny. But the album itself is recorded very well. You can feel the energy. There's a lot of whammy bar stuff going on there, which a lot of these bands did back in the day, but there's some cool shredding. I mean, Gary Holt's killer player. At least I think so anyway, but when they got to the Toxic Waltz on here, I actually think I like this version on here better than on the Fabulous Disaster album. I remember they came out with a video for that, and that was really huge. They played it on MTV, and it was on Headbangers Ball every week, it seemed like. And it was not my favorite. Not that it's a bad song, but it was definitely not my favorite one on the album. I was always like, why don't they do something different? That was, I don't know. I mean, you can't. Nothing was catchy, but there was other songs I thought maybe rocked a little bit harder than that one, and this would have been a better choice. But anyway, so when I heard this one, I was thinking, oh, actually, this is I actually like this version of it. And the banter between songs was a little bit, a little cheesy every now and then, but they were still a young band. I know they're bands I've been in, and we've had moments on stage where it's even still to this day, sometimes when something doesn't go quite as smooth as you want it to, sometimes it's a struggle for the singer to think of what to say, and I sound like he did that a couple times on here, but anyway, it was still fun to listen to. Really high energy, and sometimes when, even the thrash is fairly fast to begin with, it doesn't sound like they played the stuff overly fast, which I know I was listening back to a couple albums like Def Leppard comes to mind, their earlier recordings. They just did the Pyromania one, and they played a show, and everything was super fast. I remember seeing AC/DC play back when I was younger, and can't remember what album it was for, but they got there and played, and it seemed like everything was like at double time. So it was kind of fun actually listening to this, and it wasn't like super fast. It was actually like what the original tempo was, what should have been. But anyway, it was kind of cool hearing Steve sing a lot of that earlier stuff off the Bonded by Blood album. There's, because Exodus doesn't really have a ton of, well, they have 2 or 3 live albums, I believe, and I remember the first one was actually pretty short. So even though there were a few songs on that first live, I can't think of what the name of it is. Came out in like 91. For the life of me, I cannot think of what the name of it is, but I remember there was a few songs of Bonded by Blood on there, but I don't even think Piranha was on that one, so it was kind of cool hearing him sing that. And just they ended it with Strike of the Beast, which I think was the last song on Bonded by Blood, so it was kind of cool. They stuck with a lot of the original stuff, and I mean, there's 15 songs on here, and it seems like it went by really fast. I mean, it's all fit on one disc, so obviously it isn't too long. I didn't actually catch the running time, but good album. I'm probably not going to babble on too much longer here because I really don't have too much more to say about it, except that I really enjoyed it. The recording was really good. It didn't thrash sometimes tend to not have a whole lot of bottom end because it was all about the crunchy guitars. This one actually had a little bit more bottom end than I expected, probably more than their studio albums did. And Steve sounded great. The soloing sounded great. I actually really enjoyed this. It was really good for a band that was really that young at that point in time. They sounded really good, and they're still around doing it. So I don't know. I always say like, share, and subscribe to keep this music alive, but they're doing a pretty good job of it themselves. I can't wait to hear something new in the studio, and it's always fun to hear something that's just kind of takes you back in time. It was recorded really well. I know I said that already, but if you have anything else you guys want to add to this, if you've heard it or you got any cool Exodus stories you want to share, always feel free to do so. And share anything you want. This is an open forum. That's what it's all about. Just talking about music and babbling like I do. And so until next time, we'll see you.